Hi, Joe Alton, MD here, also known as Dr. Bones of the survival medicine website doomandbloom.net. As a free speech advocate, I support the people's right to protest and make their opinions heard. Unfortunately, demonstrations in the U.S. these days are becoming more frequent and more violent. After a short break due to the pandemic, people are again out in the streets. Some have legitimate concerns. Others, however, have bad intentions. I've spoken about this before, but it hit home recently when the pharmacy on the bottom floor where my daughter lives was broken into and looted in Chicago. Luckily, no fires were set. She has a golden retriever, though, and the dog needs to be walked. Hence, I worry, how can she stay safe in such an environment? I haven't been to a protest since the Vietnam era. I was inadvertently caught in a wave of people escaping a barrage of pepper gas, and I was just on the way to class. Back then, I was fit enough to hightail it out of there. Today, well, not so much. There's so much civil unrest in the news these days that any major city can become a tinderbox. Therefore, it's a good idea to have a riot survival strategy, whether you plan to be there or are just a bystander. It goes without saying that your objective should be to stay away from where the violence is occurring. If you walk smack dab into a demonstration, things can get dicey pretty fast. Therefore, when it comes to going to areas of civil unrest, rule number one is to ask yourself, is this trip necessary? Now, I've written a lot about situational awareness, and that mindset's going to serve you well. A situationally aware person should always be in a state of yellow alert. Yellow alert simply means being calmly aware of your surroundings and the people around you. When a person or group of people behave strangely, you got to take note and avoid them. Large groups tend to exhibit what we call herd behavior. They tend to do what others around them are doing. This is because those who join the group in this behavior figure that if several other people are doing something, it must be worthwhile to do, or they wouldn't be doing it. I mentioned in my active shooter videos that if 50 people around you drop to the ground at the sound of a gunshot, you're probably going to do so also without even thinking, even though it's probably better to run in the opposite direction from the sound. There are aspects of behavior in civil unrest that change the rules of polite society. The greater anonymity that exists within a group makes a person believe that they can act a certain way and not have the same consequences than if they were acting alone. For example, if someone in a large group is looting a store, they might believe there's less chance of being caught and feel less personal responsibility about their actions. Always mentally map out routes of escape as you walk along. Where is the nearest side street? Is there a building? Is there a subway entrance that can take you out of harm's way? If you don't know the area, move away to where you do know the lay of the land. If you have to make your way through a crowd, stay on the fringes. Don't get caught in the middle of masses of people surging away or towards the violence. If you do, they're deciding your movements, not you. Don't underestimate the sense of confusion or even panic that can exist in a large group. Say a crowd of people incite law enforcement to use tear gas. When the crowds run to escape the gas cloud, they could run right into you. In extreme cases, some folks could even get trampled as large numbers try to move quickly in the same direction. Having said that, unless everyone else is rushing in your direction, don't run unless you have no choice. If you're the only person moving in high gear, you're going to attract unwanted attention. That doesn't mean you should mosey out of there. Walk fast and purposefully around a corner or to a safe spot. Avoid being caught against walls, fences, blockades, or any other solid objects. You could wind up getting crushed. Avoid confrontation with protesters. Do not engage in political discussions. It's probably not a good idea to wear your convictions on your t-shirt or on your hat. In the wrong place and at the wrong time, this could get you attacked. You can get pepper sprayed, beaten, or even killed. It's a sad statement on today's society, but it's absolutely true. It pays to be inconspicuous. Might be difficult if you're 6'8" tall, but otherwise do your best to be what we call the gray man. Have a bandana handy. This classic survival supply is not a gas mask per se, but most people have a face covering in these pandemic times, so it's likely you have something. It's better than nothing at riots when tear gas is sprayed. Some advocate soaking the cloth with lemon juice or apple cider vinegar to counteract tear gas, but honestly, this might just be an urban myth. Wear sneakers or other footwear that's going to allow you the most mobility. The only women wearing high heels at these things are reporters. Foolhardy reporters at that. Make sure you're well clothed so that your skin is protected. You're going to need to wash clothes thoroughly that have been exposed to tear gas, or throw them away. Be aware of the movement of law enforcement officers, but don't approach them. Their job is tough enough, and they may be dealing with a hostile confrontation at the moment. Besides, they won't be able to hear you above the roar of the crowd. Now, if you're with friends, stay together. If you can't, agree on a meeting place beforehand in case you do wind up getting separated moving through the crowd. In areas where civil unrest is rife, carry some cold water, milk, or diluted liquid antacid like Malox, or even baking soda solution, which is recommended by the people who make mace. If you're sprayed with tear gas, move quickly into an area of fresh air and pour the liquid on your face, especially your eyes. Drink it if you were sprayed in the mouth. Milk or liquid antacid are thought by some to work better than water, but there's really no hard data one way or another. Baking soda solution, by the way, should not be taken with a full stomach. The good news is that even if you do little or nothing, the effects of the tear gas will resolve over time, even though it's going to be pretty darn uncomfortable until it does. If you're involved in a protest or traveling through any area experiencing violence, you should carry a basic medical kit that will help to treat injuries and stop bleeding. I used to say that it's likely you'll never get caught in a civil unrest event, but you know what? I'm no longer so sure. Having a solid plan of action in these troubled times just makes common sense. You gotta prepare for man-made disasters just like you should for hurricanes, tornadoes, and earthquakes. If you have some advice you'd like to share about this subject, please use the comment sections below. I'd love to hear them. This is Joe Alton, MD, that old Dr. Bones, wishing you the best of health in good times or bad. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you don't have a good medical or dental kit, I know where you can find one. Just check out Nurse Amy's entire line at store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.